Today, we are joined by Mary O'Hara Devereaux, founder and CEO of Global Foresight and a globally renowned futurist. Welcome, Mary. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Doing fine. You know, the Chamber Foundation here in Florida works on creating Florida's new strategic plan. It's known in the Sunshine State as Florida 2030. Research shows the future of work is changing. Can you offer our listeners some insight on the trends that you are seeing on the jobs of Florida's future?
Absolutely. And it's very important, actually, that we all look at those trends and look at the impacts that are already happening from them. Of course, one of them is the structural change in the economy and the globalization of work, which means that, the king of all that is the global supply chain and how major products, whether they're, high-end pharmaceuticals or automobiles or whatever they might be, they're often made in a product is put together across several country borders. So you have for instance, the Ford, when Ford makes a Ford for Europe, it may have been, created, put together, and assembled in as much as 10 different countries. And what that means is many things. One, that most work in the world today is done in other countries and in that fashion. And then secondly, that means work has become fragmented, that we don't think of work as being a job so much anymore. We think about it being broken up into several different tasks. And so the whole idea of full-time employment, having a job that, you can hang on to and belong to and be in for 30, 40 years is really gone. And so it's sort of the end of work in that way. It's the end of work as we know it. So that's one big trend. The second big trend that I think we all know about is technology. We have the disintermediation of work by technology in ways that we've never thought about. The old way of thinking about it is that it actually replaces or augments part of a job or work, and supports a human being to be more efficient and more productive in the work that they do, which has its upsides and its downsides. It means you have to be educated enough to manage and work directly with technology, but it also means that the hole in the middle of jobs really has come from technology in the 80s and the 90s by taking away many workers. So that's sort of been the beginning of technology replacing jobs. But today what's happening, the biggest driver of all on the future of work, whether it's Florida, California, Shanghai, China, London, is it's the age of acceleration, and we're creating more technology and types of technologies that humans can adapt to. And the biggest driver of all that, of course, is the Internet of Things, where machines can communicate with each other and make decisions and move forward without the intervention of a human. And then on top of that, we have rising amounts of artificial intelligence that is replacing a lot more higher-end type work, and mainly so much work can be done without any kind of human involvement, and it's all algorithms. So it's all sort of chains of activities that you can program into different things, and they can sort of work independently. The real question facing us now is looking at the future, if you're in the world of work, is what is the human comparative advantage as we look forward to today and as we look forward to the future? And that's what's so important to education, is that it's a whole different set of knowledge and skills that are required to participate in any kind of mid-level or higher-end job, and some of those jobs simply will be done without humans.
Well, you say the word programming, and obviously programming is education. And the Florida education system obviously has to play a key and pivotal role in preparing students today to be earners tomorrow. So what are the key initiatives inside of education in Florida that need to either be embraced or looked at in anticipation?
Well, it's great, and I'd like to just preface this by saying that there's no more important player and there's no more important set of understandings than around education and how it must change. And I'd like to complement that by saying that we in the United States, and I did a talk on education in Florida some years ago, so I'm not up to date on the stats, but Florida was behind the eight ball. And so is the United States behind the eight ball. There are just pockets of places in the U.S. that are looking rightly at education and making changes, because you no longer, that if you want to play in the future, you've got to have the right skills. And those skills include, for everybody that wants a mid-level or a high-paying job, to really master STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Algorithms are all math. So if you think about the world being embedded with technology and artificial intelligence, you have to be able to understand that in order to work with it, even if you're partnering with a robot or with a machine or supervising complex machines, which basically technology-based. So it's no longer a nice to have. Every child in America needs to be capable of enough science, understanding enough science, technology, engineering, and math to be able to interact in this kind of a work environment, and we are woefully behind.
Well, let's talk about then the role that Florida's businesses play in either trying to nudge, encourage, or shape the future, the merging of education with what the workforce needs are going to be.
Education and business need to become better partners, and it isn't a nice thing to do, it's a critical thing to do. So there needs to be sort of a seamless, it has to happen on multiple levels. It can't be that you just learn when you get to a corporation. There has to be input, advice, decision-making about K through 12 between business and education. And they have to have not just a voice at the table, but they have to have a vote at the table about what kinds of knowledge and skills that young children need today, even at preschool education, because we have to not we can't have that like separation between early education, K through 12 education, even at the college level. There's too much separation between business, employers, and education. So I think we need radical innovation in the relationships between business and education, and we're not well suited or well prepared to make that leap, and we simply don't have enough time. And I will say that there's absolutely no doubt. My forecast is that it will be impossible for the United States of America to be competitive in the future and have continue high standards of living of those that still have it without that kind of partnership between business and education. So, and we don't have any time to lose.